Hello everyone and welcome to today's new video. In today's video, we're talking about the new CAD feature in the Fusion Drive. So you can access CAD here directly in the launch pad of the Fusion Drive software, or you can go into Match or Easy Quote and you can access it through the drawing interface. So I'm going to go into Match. With my project open, I can go into drawing and then I can go into my CAD option right here, just beside the DXF and Easy Quote options for importing. Now this is my CAD software in our Fusion Drive. We're gonna have the 0 point mark like this. So we need to have everything towards this side of the square, and we can import, export, and save our CAD or our DXF file in this case. So I'm going to import a DXF file, call it test CAD. So here's my DXF file. I can, for example, transform and move my pieces. I can move all of them or just one. Essentially, you're going to drag on the vertex points. So for example, I can move this out the way. I can move it back in. I can do the same for this other one. I can also select all of them, move all of them at once. I can rotate them as well, all of them or specific ones. So let's say I want to move by this point instead of by the corner. So we'll always have my center of rotation being the vertex that I have selected. I can generate, splash, mirror, explode, polylines, and I can also add and remove vertices from my lines. So for example, I want to add a vertex, I can specify the direction, 1 or 2, left or right, and I can also have it centered. So if I have it centered, I don't have to specify a distance. I can just click on the line and it generates that for me. If I want a specific distance, then I can specify what point I am selecting and then I give it a value. So let's say 10 millimeters from point 1, okay? And we click here, there you go. So you can see that it adds upon what I already have. If I select number 2 and I have the same 10, I go down here, I click on it, you have those points being added too. I can also remove them by just clicking on them, and I can also splash, put in the height value, let's say 100, press OK here. It's going to ask for the distance. You can give it a distance. You can either type in the numpad or here in the screen. I just like to use the numpad. Let's say I'm going to add in here a 10 millimeter distance. When I click on my line here, it generates that for me automatically. I can also mirror a piece by clicking on the line. And in case I haven't already, I can explode my polylines. I can also join lines, cross lines, or remove lines. So the guidelines will give you a dotted line, that would be your guideline, and essentially this is used in case you have, for example, a jagged edge line that you want to see how it would be if it was straight from one side to the other. So you click on guideline, but you need to have some lines selected. So that's why I was selecting the lines. You click on guideline, gives you that guideline. As for the shapes, you can add rectangles, circles, or ellipses. You just have to specify the length and height for the rectangle, the length or height for the circle. Since it's a circle, you only have one value, and in the case of ellipse, you add the length and height. So for example, I want a 100 by 50 rectangle. So this is my rectangle. I can click wherever I want to add that in and it adds it for me. The same goes for the circle. Let's add a circle here. This would be 50 by 50. So I'd say that's a faucet, right? So this would be my sink. My faucet will be here. There it is. Now let's just add the sink in. 600 by 300. Okay, there it is. I can then go on my edges, can chamfer, fillet, or sharpen the edges. Just specify the length, the radius, and if you want all sides. You can add an offset to your shapes. Just specify the value and select the shapes. You can add colors. So remember, we can add colors, and this will be based on what we have on our own settings in Match. And in case you have issues, you can find all here. So the issues option here is for a quick diagnosis of what can be causing issues when you're bringing in the DXF. And I can click on find all. So these can be issues because Match doesn't like stray lines or lines that are not closing a geometry. In this case, the geometry is already closed, right? These lines are here because they were kind of like a placeholder for where the window will be, right? So it's just an indicator. It's not going to be a cut. So in this case, I can auto fix or I can fix manually. In this case, I'm just going to use autofix. There you go, it removes my lines. If I check again, no issues, no open polylines, we're good. So now I can click on save, or I can export my DXF. In this case, I'm going to click on save. There you go, it brings me back to Match. I can then Control S to save and see my 3D. I can then start working on my vein matching and my 3D or anything else I need to do here in Match. But my DXF was generated outside of Match, brought into the CAD application, fixed, and now we can use it normally. That's it for today's video. Thank you for watching.